The weather may be cooling down, but the savings are heating up at your local Sears Auto Center. This Labor Day, you could get 4 durable all-season die-hard tires and only pay for 3. Plus, you'll also get a $100 Sears Award card to use on future purchases. Great savings backed with a 70,000 mileage warranty. Die hard, don't wait. Visit SearsAuto.com to find a Sears near you and take advantage of this Labor Day sale. Installation required. Exclusions may apply. Offer valid now through September 9th. The weather may be cooling down, but the savings are heating up at your local Sears Auto Center. This Labor Day, you could get 4 durable all-season die-hard tires and only pay for 3. Plus, you'll also get a $100 Sears Award card to use on future purchases. Great savings backed with a 70,000 mileage warranty. Die hard, don't wait. Visit SearsAuto.com to find a Sears near you and take advantage of this Labor Day sale. Installation required. Exclusions may apply. Offer valid now through September 9th.
Blog Talk Radio.
10. You're now rocking with. Woo! You're now rocking with One Nation Radio. Welcome to the program. James Boyd, Richard Latta, and a couple friends with the show for your wrestling needs. Shopping out the rest of the IWC. We gon' tell her how it is. We gon' shoot from the hip. If they putting out trash, we gon' rip from the biz. Make sure that you tweet us and you rate the shows. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Now let's get it on the road. Hey, One Nation Sports. One Nation Sports. One Nation Sports.
Welcome to One Nation Radio. And now here are your hosts, Rich Latta and James Boyd. And thank you for listening.
SocialSuplex.com. BWB, what's up?
What's good? It's Wale, and this is One Nation Radio. You already know.
James, what's going on? What are we doing here?
I don't know. It's almost like magic, I guess.
This is like Bizarro World. What's going on, everybody? This is Rich from One Nation Radio. Sitting here with James, and of course, we are taking over the Perfect 10 Wrestling Show with our special guest, The Implications. What's going on, man?
Hey, I guess. This is a thing.
Yeah, this is a thing. It exists. We are live here on LOP Radio for, this is my second time on this show, and first time bringing you guys One Nation Radio and blending it with The Implications and Perfect 10 Wrestling. How's it going, man? Been a long time I haven't talked to you.
Yeah, I think I had you on my show about 2 months ago, back in June. Yeah. Yeah, so I thought, you know what, I'll be kind and bring Rich back, and he's hijacked my show.
We replaced you, apparently.
Oh, wow. That's wow.
All right, so I guess it's been we're coming fresh off of SummerSlam, and we had our show One Nation Live over the weekend, and there's a lot of stuff going on in wrestling right now. The Mae Young Classic, we've got Cena and Reigns jumping off.
Yeah.
We've got
breaking the fourth wall,
breaking all the walls like Chris Jericho, and I don't know. Let's just roll into what feels right. I guess we can start with that with John Cena and Roman Reigns. Those guys decided to pull the big guns out on each other and shoot.
I mean, do you want to do a rundown of what happened during the promo, or do you just want to just go straight to opinions?
I feel like we should tell folks what happened in case they missed it, so they can get their own gist of it. So basically, John Cena comes out there and says, I was looking, I came to Monday Night Raw for one guy, bring your ass out here,
right.
And from there, Roman Reigns comes out. These guys face off, angles in the ring, contract signing set up.
What? Contract signing for a non-title match, which is just so... I
didn't even think about that.
So ridiculous.
Yeah, man. No belt on the line or anything.
No. Pride,
yes. We gave up our pride a long time ago when we started talking about wrestling on the internet.
Yes.
But as far as these guys, fake pride or part-time pride or full-time pride, these guys started ripping into each other. Pretty much John Cena unloaded the gun on Roman Reigns in a way that no one has been able to thus far, because as we know, Roman doesn't really do too much talking, and his opponents tend to get to talk to him even less. I guess, from there, he went into talking about how Roman Reigns is not the guy to replace him. He essentially, he can't do his job. That's why Cena can't leave.
Yes. And that was actually the second part of Cena's foray.
Did I miss that?
Yeah, the beginning is he's saying about
trying
how
to pull up like some type of transcript.
my biggest issue with you, more or less, is that you've been protected. And, I guess it's sort of playing into the fact that John Cena was, on Future Endeavor Road right before he turned it around and became the biggest star in the industry.
Right.
And from there, Roman goes to talk, and Roman is one of the issues that I have with this stuff is that there are certain people, like, for example, Cena and Paul Heyman and Stephanie, that are allowed to go off book whenever they so choose because they're really quick fingers on their feet. Everybody else, for the most part, especially the main roster everyday people, are not allowed to deviate. So he's going to cut his promo, and he ends up winding up cutting pretty much the best promo of his career. And he stammers for a bit, and then Cena cuts him off immediately and then kneecaps him and says, he's like, "Come on, guy! If you're gonna be the guy, you gotta learn how to cut promos." As if he's like Mick telling Rocky he has to go to the body, right? He's telling him what to do.
Yeah.
And then and then he goes from there, and he pretty much he popped the territory more or less by just calling Cena a bitch twice. Mm-hmm. And then Cena laughs, and then he proceeds to do what he's been doing about since the time he became the stop and start guy now that he's became over the last years and change.
Yeah.
Where he just your biggest like vulnerability as an actual star, he shines a light on it, and I said to you a few months ago, like, I wonder when it's going to become a time where somebody starts to take exception to this, whether they're a face or heel or whatever, is saying like, all right, well, this dude is here today, gone tomorrow, and he's literally killing your everyday guys. At what point are people going to take some, as far as fans, have something to say about this? And apparently we're sort of there now with Roman Reigns, of all people.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Who would have guessed that? Matt, what did you make of this whole thing?
Well, sometimes the breaking the fourth wall falls flat on its arse. You have to only look at Goldust at the end of the Attitude Era. That was bollocks. That was so shit. But I really like this. I thought it worked because it kind of added some legitimacy, I guess, because Reigns has felt fake this entire time, and this was the first time he really felt real. That doesn't sound like an artsy-fartsy kind of bullshit, but it felt real for the first, Reigns' program, which didn't feel kind of manipulated into trying to get him over, which is great to see, really. Cena did kind of shoot him in the knees a bit.
Yes.
I agree with it. I thought, he, as I mentioned before, no one's really been allowed to take off on Reigns and pretty much voice what a lot of the fans think about him. It's just been this alternate reality that WWE has created for Roman Reigns to live in.
Well, to be fair, is it actually a reality they created, or is it actually just, in fact, the WWE universe?
You can say that. Ever since, the Royal Rumble 2015, a.k.a. when they hit the iceberg, they've positioned this guy, they've decided he was the man. He never became the man.
Before he ever had to prove or tell.
Right. And the fact that it took this long for someone to have this personal, type feud with him, it's easily the most personal feud since Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns that he's had.
Yeah. Because he's not had anything relatable, really. It's just been, let's try this to get him over, let's try this to get him over. And Daniel Bryan was the first time of not being that. It was just a storyline that was quite good to build some form of character around it. This is the same. It's the first time, really, where it hasn't been let's try and get Reigns over. It's just been let's have a proper rivalry, a proper feud. He's not had that really since Bryan. Everything else has been Sheamus. But I don't know.
Well, to be fair, if there's one thing, when it comes on the spectrum of the Roman hate from the internet, I think me and Rich, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, Rich, I think me and Rich more feel on the lines of this guy isn't necessarily perfect, but He has been a really, really big time clutch performer on the big stage, and WWE really did him a super disservice by giving him this push at the time they did, and also putting Daniel Bryan into that Royal Rumble.
100% agree. Yes.
Yeah. So just to state it out loud for those that are unfamiliar with our standing on the Roman spectrum. Right, there are some people that think he should not be allowed on TV, right?
Those people are ridiculous,
but if there's one thing, and I think for even the staunchest Roman haters, I think if there's one thing that he has proven time after time to be successful with, has been the face versus face feud. Like when you talk about like the thing that makes it interesting, the Roman AJ feud was so good and it was so smart because it played on. Is the Bullet Club actually with AJ?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They're doing this stuff for him. I don't trust you guys, so I'm going to bring my cousins with me. And then everything comes down to they both end up seeing their people that they have close-knit relationships with getting beaten down by the person they're feuding with chairs. So it doesn't matter about right or wrong. It's about you attack some people that are important to me, we're going to run it.
Yeah.
And that's why those two matches that they had in that 2-month feud was so good, because it was actually somewhat real.
Right.
Like you saw the connections. And I mean, we're getting there, but I don't know if this is necessarily the best way to get there. Don't get me wrong, like I thought this was one of the best segments of Raw on TV this year, period.
To me, is this and the rap battle.
Yeah, I mean,
I love that rap battle.
I mean, but it's all you gotta also admit. It's also like every other like John Cena work, shoot, burial that he's done. Like whether he called AJ a guy from Atlanta, or when he called Miz, he said like, "Look, you moron! If I controlled everything and I'm the puppeteer like you said I wouldn't be fighting your sorry ass. I would be fighting
The Undertaker.
The Undertaker." Yeah. And then he said, normally around this time I'd be telling people that me and Nikki are for the fight of our lives, but come WrestleMania, we're going to bury you. and then there was, just like 2 weeks ago, like probably the most efficient one he's ever done, where like Corbin comes out and in 2 sentences he's already like, wow, his career might be over.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, man. As far as the match, like who do we think is gonna like end up winning on this one? Matt, we start with you.
Surely Roman Reigns, right?
It's almost got to be Roman. Like, I mean, he hasn't won a single pay-per-view match since retiring the Undertaker. He took the pin at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
That was big.
Cena's due to leave at any given moment. He needs, like, Roman really needs a big win if the plan is, in fact, him going into WrestleMania to get that transitive heat from Brock beating The Undertaker 4 years ago. So they definitely need to.
The idea of transitive heat is just like
stupid.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Like meanwhile, Goldberg whooped that man's ass like a year ago. Undertaker already beat him, got the heat back. Like,
it's effectively the juice.
It's the juice. It's like, what is the lineal Undertaker Heat Championship? Like, I don't get it.
Do you want to call it the heat or the glow? Or do you want to call it the juice or the glow?
We call it the juice. We'll go with it. And Naomi has the glow. Okay. The last dragon has the glow. So we'll go with the juice. Nobody's heard the juice in a while.
Okay. I
brought it up recently in a column when I was talking about Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman also qualifies for the juice, too, the way he was whooping on Brock Lesnar's ass at SummerSlam.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, speaking of those guys, I'll give my pick first. I'll be the different guy, and I'll say Cena's going to win. And I'll say that because I feel like they'll build to a rematch that they can do at the Royal Rumble when Cena comes back, and then Reigns will get his win back essentially and send him on the way there. But the booking, No Mercy, looks like it could essentially be the show of the year for whatever.
Stupidly solid.
Just based off the top 2 matches, why are we getting these WrestleMania matches right now?
Because they've got to get to Brock versus Roman at WrestleMania, so let's burn through everything else to try to keep you interested.
Oh my God.
The last time I thought like they were doing something crazy like this was when they did the rematch between Cena getting squashed by Lesnar at SummerSlam 2014, and they did like the very next month, and you think you're just watching the TV and you're just thinking like this seems like it's too soon. But then after some retrospect, you sort of think about it like, oh yeah, that's right. The network subscription for the network rolled over after SummerSlam, so they needed like a quick hook to get people to re-up. Now they're almost like crackheads trying to give away free sign up. So like at this point,
Y'all want some of these subscriptions? Y'all want some of these subscriptions?
Like it's like, will you? Like I will pay you to please try this food. Like it's so ridiculous. Yeah. But now we're at the point where that's what they're. I mean, I don't know the rhyme or reason for this. I really don't. Like they're putting on 2 matches that could main event WrestleMania next year. And honestly, if you say the three doors are available are Cena versus Reigns, Braun versus Brock, or Brock versus Roman 2 Electric Boogaloo, which door you're going down? The one you're actually about to go down is probably the last one you want to pick.
Yeah, for sure. They've got a strange infatuation with putting Reigns over everyone. They had him beat The Undertaker. They had him beat Triple H. They had him beat CM Punk. They had him beat Daniel Bryan. And he's still no more over than he was. They had him be essentially like one of the greatest Royal Rumble performers that we've ever seen in like a 4-year period stretch.
Not one else. Who's been better? Think about it like this, right? He finished second in 14.
Yep.
15 he won. 16 he finished third, and then he finished second in 17.
Yeah.
Who else has
ridiculous.
like finished in the final or in the top 3 for 4 straight years?
Like the only thing you could probably say is Austin, but even Austin like missed a Royal Rumble.
And Austin also. Yeah, and another part about it is like Austin should have been eliminated in one of those freaking things.
Yeah, man.
It's true, Brett.
Yep. We'll always come back to 1997 at some point on all of our shows. It's the seminal year in wrestling history, I feel like. As far as Strowman and Lesnar, I really feel like this match, Braun Strowman is the guy that has the juice, and I feel like he needs to beat Brock Lesnar. What do you think, Matt?
I really, really like Braun Strowman. I really want him to win. But then, I suddenly remember what they're building towards, and I hope they're not. Because Braun Strowman is hot. He's white hot. This is the moment. This is in TNA with Samoa Joe. He was undefeated. He was an absolute beast. He was a monster. They did the whole stuff with the X Division, and he was absolutely amazing. Then they had him lose to Kurt Angle, and he never. The moment went, and when he won, it wasn't the same. He wasn't the unstoppable Samoa Joe. He was just really good wrestler Samoa Joe. It wasn't the same with Braun Strowman. They've got to give him that championship before he kind of dies down a bit and becomes really good Braun Strowman rather than the monster Braun Strowman. So I want him to keep him as the monster. Yeah, give him the title whilst he's white hot, like they did with Brock Lesnar back in the day with The Rock.
Do you guys think Strowman would be essentially exposed by having the championship?
No, not if he only has to wrestle twice a month.
Right.
Yeah, like.
Right. But the WWE, they protected Strowman, right? But I'm afraid if they put the championship on him, they're going to go ahead. I don't think they'll make him I would essentially assume that he's a face now. Would that be fair to say? He's the one who's going to
get the most cheers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When Brock Lesnar comes into the scene, like there is no baby face or heel. There's just Brock Lesnar.
Right. But I feel like I want him to win the title really badly, right? But I feel like WWE is going to do a thing where they essentially make him the champion and he loses a little something. As far as just doing the crazy impressive shit each week. I don't know if we're going to get the moments like he's flipping the ambulance or fighting off murder attempts and all this other stuff. It's just he's going to get the energy of, oh, this is our champion now. And they're going to send him out there with a microphone and to just do this stuff. And he doesn't need that.
No. If they are going to make him champion, they need to continue doing exactly what they've been doing. They don't need to deviate or anything. They don't need to have him. And that's the thing. I don't give a damn if it was The Rock, if it was Stone Cold, if it's even John Cena, and we've seen it with John Cena for years, and we know this is true. If you have somebody and you make them come out week after week after week and have to start off that first segment and give a 15-minute promo, they're going to get less over and less over by the week because nobody I don't care how good of a promo they are. I don't care if they're Chael Sonnen. I don't care if they're McGregor. It doesn't matter. I don't care if they're Billy Graham, superstar Billy Graham. You cannot cut promos for 15 minutes and get yourself over week after week after week. And if you don't believe me,
unless you're CM Punk,
and if you don't believe me, go look at what how over Enzo is since the split to where they are now. And that's not 15 minutes. That is like 5, 6, 7 minutes. That is a long time to tread water out there. And now he's in 205 Live. But what was I going to say? Yeah, I think if they keep the plan being that he's only going to wrestle 2 times a month, the pay-per-view and one of the main events
on TV,
and you can basically have it to where, you know, I said this to you before, you have it bronze rules.
Bronze rules.
He has a regular match. He has a regular rules match on TV, and then whoever bump whatever guy that wants to step into the Terror Dome with him on pay-per-view for the belt, you have to fight in bronze rules. And bronze rules basically means anything but a regular rules match. Like, if you notice, most of these matches he's been in have been stipulation matches, and he's excelled at them because they've been able to hide some of his flaws and accentuate the fact that this is the biggest, strongest dude on earth. You know, so.
Do you remember Ryback rules?
Oh. It's funny that you actually bring him up. It's sort of funny that we're at this time of the year. We're getting towards the end or past SummerSlam, getting into figuring out what's going to happen for SummerSlam season. And we have a guy that's not in their quote-unquote plans because they always have to have plans and nothing get in the way of their plans, that somebody messed around and got over that wasn't planned to, not to that extent, and it's time for them to actually become champion or be put over to become an actual full-on star as opposed to somebody that's really just bubbling to the surface, and we're going to see what they're going to do. Are they going to do right by this dude and after they protected him for a year, for over a year at this point, or are they going to basically have him on the precipice of becoming the guy or becoming the champion, and then have the ref blow him and then help roll him up like how they did right back with CM Punk and Brad Maddox at Hell in a Cell 2011.
Please say no.
Or 2012. So it's up to them.
What do you make of that whole situation, Matt? Like, because I feel like James and I, like, we've talked on our show many times about the Ryback Punk Rock situation and how essentially Ryback isn't in WWE right now because they had an opportunity to make him the man. And looking at it, or a man. And I remember at the time, Jericho thought Ryback should go over. Like, he was out on his podcast saying that. Mm-hmm. And then with retrospect of every passing day, it feels like, man, you could have just beat CM Punk and then gave him the belt back. But they were that committed to the 434-day plans. You know. Plans. Not Samuel plan, but WWE plans. And what's up, plan? But how do you feel about that whole situation?
Did Ryback turn heel after that WrestleMania? Was it before that WrestleMania?
They turned him into like the following. Okay, so the storylines we were actually talking about Brown Everett from Wrestling Observer, and he had made a point a couple months ago about the company has been so bad with baby faces that the only thing they know how to do is get heat now. So you see when they come every single week, they come to a show where a wrestler is in their hometown or their home state, they always beat them. Like really the only exception that I can remember over the last year and change or maybe 2 years is Sasha winning that match to get into SummerSlam just a couple weeks ago in Boston. Which is funny because when she was in a Hell in a Cell match the year before in Boston, they beat her, right? So, and then you look at the history of title reigns now, where overwhelmingly for 20 or since Daniel Bryan had to vacate the title in June 2014, all the days where the reigns have been for the champions, 23% out of the 100% has been like baby faces. Like heels have just ran roughshod, right? And you know, like we've only had 3 babyface wins on pay-per-views since Brock split Orton's head wide open.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And 2 of them were Goldberg,
and the other one was Roman retiring the Undertaker.
Ooh.
Right.
That's a good punch, isn't it?
Yeah. So we're just overrun with heat. And I've lost my track of my point. What I was going to say.
We're overrun with heat right now. All the baby faces on pay-per-view have been unsuccessful in main events, and they are.
We were talking about Ryback and Roman. We were talking about Ryback
losing all those matches.
Oh
like
yes,
he did.
yes. So once Alvarez made that point or whatever, and I started going and looking back at like the championship reigns and the pay-per-views, I'm like, my God, he's not only is he right, like he is like, it's almost like. You just something like you just can't unsee now.
Right.
And for me, it was just like I have to look at this and go back and track like the times they've messed up guys that were hot acts or whatever. Or also guys, and I was also looking back at guys that lost titles but never got their quote unquote fair title shot back, and one of them was Ryback. So after the whole situation with Ryback at Hell in a Cell, the next month they go and have a triple threat with Cena involved with Punk, and then they debut the Shield, and then the whole thing is Ryback is now chasing her vengeance against the Shield for months, and then he ends up fighting Mark Henry at that WrestleMania, and then after he's on TV and he actually can give him the shell shock, he in the biggest stage of them all, his WrestleMania moment is to get him on his back and then can't do it. Right, his performance issues, right?
Yeah. And then he does it immediately after the match is over.
Right. And then, like, he turns heel almost like this for the very next month and then fights Cena. And it was a really good match, but still, it's like, wow, what a squandered situation this was.
Anyway, but slight deviation.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry for the derailment.
The next thing I want to talk about was obviously the PWI 500 list. Now, Matt, have you had a chance to take a look at the PWI 500?
Yeah, I've seen the top 10, and of course I follow a few wrestlers, so they've just gone, I'm on the top 500 list, and just seen that just pop up. Yeah, so yes, I have seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually just came across the whole 500. We're not obviously going to go through the whole 500, but I did want to shine a light on a couple things and explain, some things about the PWI 500. I've always been a fan of it since I was a little kid. I remember the first issue being 1998 was the first one that I bought, and it was Austin that was number 1. And I was always just fascinated with this. It's a very heavily, lean towards kayfabe. But when you start looking at how the list breaks down, it's like there's a couple keys to it. There's obviously a grading period. It usually goes around from August of one year to July of the next year. And then they weigh everything, championships are weighted heavily. The WrestleMania main event typically is rated very heavy. I wrote a column a couple years ago where I discovered that at the time there were only 8 times where now 9 with this year, that the person that won the WrestleMania main event was not number 1 in the PWI 500. It was almost like, if you're a full-time WWE performer, that you're going to get it. If you win that, it's essentially like a ticket, and if not, it's something ridiculous that happens, like Okada having a ridiculous year like he's having right now.
So I'm assuming one of those years that the person that main evented WrestleMania was not PWI number 1 was Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 9.
Correct.
Okay, just making sure.
I want to say in 1993's number 1 was actually Bret Hart. So, and he lost the main event, which is crazy.
He wasn't in the main event. What are you talking about?
Yeah, anyway. That was a Money in the Bank cash in.
Exactly. What are you talking about? Hulk Hogan with a black eye cash in?
Yeah. So
we're gonna be Money in the Bank.
So John Cena wasn't in the 2013 SummerSlam main event either. In that case,
no, he was not.
So let's get to the top 10. I guess we can go in reverse order and talk about these guys. Number 10, The Miz. Career renaissance pretty much through the whole grading period last year, and he pretty much put himself back on the map on Talking Smack, going off on a coward that left his fans. that basically did not bring prestige back to the Intercontinental Championship, and he basically helped. If AJ Styles was on one side, The Miz was on the other. Like, those were your top two heels on the show. Yes, we want more of that, please. Before they started to ruin SmackDown in January.
Yeah.
They literally took it apart brick by brick. You know what? We don't like the foundation. We're going to start over again.
The weather may be cooling down, but the savings are heating up at your local Sears Auto Center. This Labor Day, you could get 4 durable all-season die-hard tires and only pay for 3. Plus, you'll also get a $100 Sears Award card to use on future purchases. Great savings backed with a 70,000 mileage warranty. Die hard, don't wait. Visit SearsAuto.com to find a Sears near you and take advantage of this Labor Day sale. Installation required. Exclusions may apply. Offer valid now through September 9th.
I'm going to pass it to you guys. Talk about The Miz a little bit.
I think he's awesome, obviously. Well, because for me, he had a clear arc on SmackDown. He was over as hell, and the next thing was to put him in the world title picture with, I guess, AJ Styles, who was, as you said, the other top heel, who's now babyface. He was kind of like mid-transition into babyface because he's so over anyway. But to have him and The Miz as the top two guys going forward, it just made sense. Then The Miz got drafted. Then Dean Ambrose got drafted. Then Jinder Mahal happened. I've heard your rant on Jinder Mahal, by the way. That was the best rant I've ever heard. Jinder Mahal.
I appreciate it, man.
But yeah, it felt like it was a clear arc for him, and then they drafted him to Raw, and there's no clear arc for him on Raw. He's Intercontinental Champion. He's doing awesome still as Intercontinental Champion, but there's a glass ceiling, obviously, because of course they got in my country, we call them the Roidy Magoos, as in just the big-ass lads with this huge muscles, and is The Miz really going to ever break into that? I don't know, it's going to be really difficult. On SmackDown, he could have done, but I don't know if he can on Raw, so that's kind of disappointing. So I don't know where he's going to go from now, but in the grading period, he was amazing. His program with Dolph Ziggler was one of the best storylines WWE's done for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's amazing because I want to say, like 2012 when he did it, like the end of 2012 when him and Del Rio both turned face, we were like, let's see how this goes, and he just was dead as a doorknob.
Yeah.
Even though he won, the Intercontinental title on the pre-show of the 2013 WrestleMania, it's just like he was just dead, and you always saw it, like they keep having this dude do Miz TV to try to get other people over. Eventually, he's going to break through somehow, some way. They clearly keep giving him, the mic to talk. Eventually, he's going to lead somewhere. It maybe, obviously, he's not the greatest, most gifted athlete in the ring. And yes, he does wrestle like he's underwater sometimes. But we'll see. But eventually, like, if he can, figure something out as far as the grasping the storytelling part of the wrestling for big matches, he might have something. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened, and this is where we're at now.
The Miz has figured it out.
Yeah, he's figured it out to where, like, look, I'm never going to be able to have AJ Styles or Shawn Michaels matches as based off just athletic brilliance. I'm never going to be Seth Rollins. Can't do it. But what I can do is use all the heat I have because everybody hates my guts because I have a punchable face, and I'm quote unquote unworthy. Because I was a reality star, and I'm going to shove it down people's throats over time, and eventually people started to take notice. And most noticeably when he went off on one of the most beloved baby faces of any and all times in Daniel Bryan, and like he's absolutely right. We were at a point where natural career storyline arc was he was headed towards the title. But, of course, plans, right?
Yep.
And we ended up where they said switch him out, and he basically got moved over to where the big boys play, right? Like, it's like, all right, good luck. Like, okay, good luck trying to break through to the main event where there's Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar on that brand. Good luck with that. Have fun.
Before you get to the Shield guys, like
and that's before, and that's after the Shield guys, right? So he pretty much has been in this position where, much like when things are struggling, they always ask him to go put out fires. Well, can you go out here and take out the trash? Can you go out here and fix this flat tire for me? Can you go out there and clean out the gutters? And they had him going out there with Jason Jordan and trying to get this whole mess over.
Yeah.
And
poor Miz.
That's where we are.
Yeah, poor Miz.
And before that, it was like, hey, can you kind of help us kickstart this whole entire Seth Rollins redemption story by having you and your clique of geeks beat up Seth and then have Dean make the save? That all jump started because of Miz.
So valuable in so many different ways.
Yeah.
The Miz is. Hopefully he gets his due one day, and I've said it on One Nation Radio. Jinder Mahal is wearing the Miz's WWE Championship right now.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's absolute proof that, like, look, if the whole situation is if it was about the fact that Miz wasn't a good enough worker, then okay, fine. You say he's not a guy that's capable of putting on main event quality matches on pay-per-view. Fine, I can understand that. But we've seen now, SummerSlam, that was not the main event, that was semi-main, but that was the brand's main event. And we've seen 4 of those. And they're not the snuff. They're just not, especially after 2016 that we had with all the, the best wrestling the company ever put on, and everybody is still back. That contributed. No major injuries. And everybody that contributed to that is back. So there's no explanation for this. There's none.
Number 9, the glorious one, Bobby Roode, up 61 spots.
Oh, sorry, what's his name?
The glorious one, Bobby Roode.
No.
So
it's the glorious.
Hold on, I was gonna say. So James pretty much will refuse to call Bobby Roode Bobby Roode.
No, of course not. Why would I do that? Do you not watch Botchamania, sir?
Aside from that.
First off, it doesn't have to be Botchamania. Every time you've seen him on NXT at a takeover, what did buddy with the Oxfords call him? What does he call him?
The Glorious.
The Glorious Bobby Roode. So there you go.
Bobby Roode.
There is no hard D.
I thought you were gonna say Buddy Landell, but
no. That's my like one I keep holster for when I want to be snarky. I don't really call him back. I only say that to like y'all.
Gotcha.
Off air.
So we done outed this man on live radio. All right. So Bobby Roode up to number 9, up 61 spots from number 70. Had a glorious year as winning the NXT Championship and headlining the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania takeovers and the SummerSlam one. Well, that one was outside the Green Period. But he got to number 9. What do you guys think of this?
I guess I'm not sure. I was going to say a bit high maybe, although he did have those really good matches with Shinsuke Nakamura during this period. So I guess it's fine in a way. But I don't know if that's more because of how good Shinsuke is. Because he's shown it on SmackDown, I think, a little bit. They can have a half-decent match with pretty much anyone. Because even though his matches with Jinder were nowhere near 4 stars, I'd call it half-decent until the finish happened, which was bollocks, and then just crippled it. It was so bad. But yeah, I guess I don't know. I feel like with Bobby Roode, I absolutely love it. It feels weird saying that in my accent. It just got no gusto to it. Yeah, so with Bobby Roode, I'm just calling him his normal name. So Bobby Roode, he's got, I really like him. I enjoyed him in TNA, but I can't name a single match of his that I've really, really liked, which I find really odd, even though I think he's amazing. I don't know how that's possible, because I went back to his TNA work. There's not really any match I can pick out that I really like. I just like him, just overall. And I guess that could be one reason why he's so high up this list. Well, plus he was NXT champion. That means quite a lot to BWI.
Forever. Yeah, I've
called him a dude with an entrance before.
Yeah, you're still down on him. Like, the thing is this, right? If you watched, actually, I can't say it because you have to. The thing is this. He is the technician. He's the mechanic guy. Like, and he's not a mechanic that's sensational in the way that, like Cesaro is, or even somebody that's technical is sense of, like, he's able to tie it into the storytelling of like, being a person that's just going to chop you down systematically like Bret Hart is. Mm-hmm. He is a guy, like, he is a lot like how Triple H is, where he's technically sound, He's in the right place when he should be. He knows how to contribute to the story, but he also is kind of like in the Randy Orton mode, where like in Triple H mode, where he's methodical and he builds towards a crescendo at the end of the match, as opposed to we're going to start out in like for the heat or the hope spot or the cutoff. We're going to do something that like really sticks out in your mind as being memorable, or whatever, to keep you throughout. Like the whole thing is building. Like it's almost like keeping it low, keeping it here. Obviously, it's not a visual medium, but like keeping the car at like 15, and then all of a sudden, like by the end, like we're just off and running. Mm-hmm. And that's seeing the kind of crazy wrestling that we're seeing. If you're not just only into WWE product, that can be a thing that can turn you off on Bobby Roode. Sorry, so you saying, oh, he's good. I don't know how great he is necessarily, right. But I really enjoyed his match with McIntyre. Yeah. The other week, but the thing is, like, after you see what Gargano and Almas did, what Asuka and Ember did, and then what Authors of Pain and that Hoss match did with Sanity. It's kind of hard to, and also like this is a super duper strong style, or not super duper, but it's not an Ishii Shibata match. But to my point, like WWE, like that was one of the most brutal matches as far as striking that I've ever seen on a WWE show. Between Aleister Black, almost by his old indie name, by Aleister Black and Tommy. So like there was so much stuff, there was a variety, and then you got basically, after all of that crazy stuff, you pretty much got like I don't want to say paid by numbers, because you basically got like a high quality WWE main event, well wrestled match, which is like all this other crazy stuff happened. It's like, oh, okay. And you put that at the end, it's like that match is about, depending on what you like, that match goes up there, but like it's almost like, oh yeah, that's some really good vanilla we just had. Some really good vanilla. So like I see how I do too, but you get what I'm saying, like that can kind of swirl. You kind of sort of like don't appreciate what Bobby Roode brings to the table at times when you have like the craziest tag matches in the world going on the undercards of some of these takeover shows.
Now, looking at the rest of this list, right? The way that it leans so heavily towards kayfabe, sort of rewarding that, like just these accomplishments. Randy Orton was at number 13. I feel like there's a very good argument that pretty much got dismantled the moment Randy Orton won the belt. Why doesn't Randy Orton have this spot? You won the Royal Rumble. You won the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Those gender matches killed him.
Well,
in kayfabe and out of kayfabe.
Well, here's the thing, right? So, depending on how you feel about it, how you feel about Randy Orton burning down Bray Wyatt's sister's gravesite, it comes down to a lot of it. Like, remember me, we do the live blog in the Wrestling Square Circle, and we basically more or less are basically doing running diaries of everybody talking back and forth amongst like 50 different people of what they're seeing on SmackDown or Raw or the pay-per-views or takeovers. Yeah. And when that happened, and he was saying he was going to burn this place down or burn that mother down, right? I thought, wow, this is a double turn. This is a double turn. This is so dark that this is a double turn. Orton's basically going to turn back into like 2009 Psycho guy. And then you show up the next week or 2 weeks later, and they are still in the same babyface and heel dynamic that they had, and there was no double turn. I thought, wow, this isn't going to go well. And sure enough, it went worse than I thought it ever could have went. Right? Like maximum cockroaches, earthworms. It went worse than I ever thought it would.
All those bugs were just trying to flock to the shit that was being presented in the ring.
But when you do something like this is a guy that has supernatural powers, and he gets them from his sister who is buried at a gravesite. And then you burn down the gravesite, in essence, getting rid of the powers. And then a week or two later, he shows up at the gravesite that was of the burn and around all the rubble, and basically rubs the ashes on his face, going in blackface. But the blackface has magical powers.
I forgot about that.
and then like he's like, oh, okay, so now this is full on hocus pocus. Like it's supposed to be like it was just like it jumped that jumped the shark for me. And then the week after that is like they show up and apparently he has more followers, more random goons we never seen. Like they're essentially his druids, and they grab him backstage, and then he basically sings them a song. Is like this is really turned from something that could be interesting or it's something compelling or something everyone was talking about, right? We saw people with stills of Orton hitting his pose in front of the burning house on T-shirts or at indie shows, right? And then that's where we end up, and that's what we got for the title match at WrestleMania. That is going to leave a lot of people sour over like the direction with you and everything that was chosen. Even though if you look at it from the long view, they built that so well. Where at the September pay-per-view, because Orton obviously couldn't be in the I'm sorry, was that the next one?
Was it the next one?
Yeah, he couldn't be in the September pay-per-view because he was out because of concussion because he got split open by a 300-pound shoot fighter, right? So he loses. He joins the cult. They win the tag titles. They're the two sole survivors in the
Survivor Series
match. Yep. Both of them. They finish 1-3 at the Royal Rumble. And then, Wyatt wins the title next month at the next month's pay-per-view. And then they threw you off the scent by holding it off and saying, I'm still the student and you're still the teacher, and they throw that at you, and that was actually like a gigantic WrestleMania moment or WrestleMania feud moment where you see the package, you can see the video package, and then everything after that just like went to straight hell. Straight hell after that. And you look from that, a month later after Orton's champion, he drops the belt to a literal jobber.
Yes.
I think for me the prime comparison is the Bray Wyatt-Daniel Bryan feud, where very similar, and Daniel Bryan joins the cult and he does all that stuff, and then eventually turns on them and he got a white-hot feud. Daniel Bryan with a concussion doing the yes thing on top of the cage, which was amazing. but even Daniel Bryan didn't win that feud, because at the match at the Royal Rumble, Bray Wyatt beat him.
Right, and that match is a classic too.
Yep.
Yeah.
That might be Bray Wyatt's best match.
Might be. But what else is close?
Yeah.
Like with the Hell in a Cell with Roman.
Nah, it's not in the same class.
I'm saying like what else would you consider a classic Bray Wyatt matches? Like I would think that, like maybe like a couple of the Shield Wyatt matches.
Maybe that last man standing match with Cena, but we have a theory on One Nation Radio. It's impossible to have a bad last man standing match.
Oh, it's possible. Like if me and you went to the bingo hall and did it, right? I'm sure that would be bad.
I'm sure we could figure it out, right?
But like if you've been wrestling in the business for like 5 years or whatever, if you've done a few dates, I think you can do a pretty good last man standing match. A pretty entertaining one. It's hard. It's kind of hard to mess up. Like that's like that's like messing up like ramen.
So let's go to number 8. Number 8, a guy that was called Lazy, who's been up and down, who was, I think you guys know where I'm going with this. Dean Ambrose, up one spot from last year at the number 8 spot. So Dean Ambrose, he won his first, I think he won the title before the grading period. So that was not taken into consideration. But he held the title into September and pretty much was told by everyone to get the fuck off our TVs because we want AJ Styles to be the champion at a certain point. But all this while he's still having awesome matches on pay-per-view the entire year, essentially. And then he pretty much, after the Royal Rumble, they put him with Baron Corbin and got him all the way under.
Yeah.
This guy, Dean Ambrose, I'm okay with him being in the top 10 because I feel like he had an awesome year. There's still like a million questions with this guy, though. Even though he silences the critics, I feel like every time. And I had a conversation, I forgot who I was talking to about this, but every time they want to rehab one of the other Shield guys, they put him with Dean Ambrose, and he saves them every time.
Yeah. It's happened 3 times now.
Yeah. So what do you guys make of Dean Ambrose at number 8?
Yeah, he's wrestled. Isn't the stat that he's wrestled more matches than anyone in the company?
Yep.
It's been on over 200 or something this past year. It's like a ridiculous number or something. But plus, keeping in mind for PWI as well, he's been main eventing a lot. He's been champion, WWE champion and Intercontinental champion. And I know it's outside the period, but now is also tag team champion. So, this past year, he became a Grand Slam champion, if I'm right.
Yep. When they won at SummerSlam, he became the first one. I think is Daniel Bryan.
I think that'll go towards next year's grade period, but all stands the same.
Yeah. With no celebration about it whatsoever, compared to how they think they're going to do it with Roman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I'm assuming they might do a thing where he beats The Miz, becomes a Grand Champion, just because of that. Nothing to do with him actually wanting the title. Just like, well, the other two are like almost there, so why not? Same with Seth Rollins as well. Yep. He's only got the Intercontinental to go, and then he's a Grand Champion. So why not do the same with Roman and make them all Grand Slam champions, and then have an amazing WrestleMania? But no, I've drifted. I've been talking about Dean Ambrose. But Dean Ambrose he deserves to be there, definitely. Yeah, he was solid on SmackDown Live and died off a bit after the Royal Rumble. Then after WrestleMania, when he went to Monday Night Raw, he kind of picked up again. So, I think he deserves to be that high.
Definitely. So let's go on up to number 7. Up 7 spots from number 14, Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
So he spent he's one of 2 guys in the top 10 to spend a significant amount of time in NXT during the grading period. Actually 3 guys. Take that back.
Not more.
Yeah. He ends up at the number 7 spot. Now, Samoa Joe, since he's come to the main roster, I want to say they cut it off in July, so I want to say they counted that Great Balls of Fire match with Lesnar and all that. I feel like this is a fair ranking for him at number 7, and, I can't really make an argument for anyone he should be above, but, if you look below, you could pull someone like a Neville out, but I think he's solid at number 7.
Yeah.
I agree.
The Great Balls of Fire stuff in SummerSlam, he was just so good. There is just honestly, there is really no legitimate reason for why that dude is not a main event or going to be a main eventer for the next couple of years while he's still around. Obviously the situation, we'll see what happens with him in the coming weeks or whatever, but that dude is big time, and I would love nothing more than see a John Cena versus Samoa Joe WrestleMania match or something. They need to do something before. It seems as if we're getting to a point where John Cena or Vince is writing off a bucket list for Cena on his way out the door, more and more and more.
Yeah.
As he leaves. He
does closer.
Closer and closer to being done forever. That needs to be on the bucket list. A Samoa Joe program. It definitely needs to be done.
I just came across something on the list. Jinder Mahal is number 30. I'm
what?
befuddled and baffled.
Champion, is it? Purely because he's a champion. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Wow, they put Brock Lesnar on the list. That's shocking. I didn't know he qualified enough dates. He ended up at number 25. But I guess we can go up to number 6 now, up 1 spot from last year. Shinsuke Nakamura spent a lot of time at NXT, was as a champion, and then had a feud where he lost the title and pretty much was still the main event. And since coming to the main roster, it's kind of been mixed results. You've seen flashes of what he's had in Japan, but I don't feel like we've seen the best of Nakamura thus far on the main roster. But as far as for the grading period, I think this is more than fair. He definitely hit the series with him and Joe. It seems like it resonated with folks pretty decently. The matches with Rude, he lost them. So that kind of probably hurt his ranking as far as going into the top 5. But I think Nakamura definitely had a year where you could look at it and be like, okay, he was the premier star of NXT, and he was also, the premier call-up that happened. That's pretty much what you can ask for.
Yeah. I think for his main roster run so far, for me, I don't know if it's much his fault, because his matches have kind of felt a bit like Dancing with the Stars, where he's the amazing dancer who can just do the flamenco with amazing style, and then he's given bloody John McCain or someone. Someone really shy.
Wow.
So I think that's a bit of a harsh comparison for Jinder, but he's still. You know what I mean? He's not going to dance the flamenco. Well, I don't know. Maybe John McCain can dance the flamenco. The point being that he's not going to be as good as Shinsuke Nakamura. It kind of felt like that. Like his dance partners they can give it a go, but they're not going to be anywhere near the level that Shinsuke kind of needs to be able to put on an amazing match, like he could do with like half the guys on Raw or AJ Styles, which I'm hoping they're building up to. It's just like Baron Corbin and Jinder. That's not exactly great dance partners.
Well, I would say that Corbin is a better dance partner than Jinder, but not if all he's going to do is slap on a chin lock, or a headlock. That's not going to. No one wants to see chin lock city. I'm sorry, Kevin Owens. That's not a thing we want to see. But yeah, Nakamura, it's so weird to kind of like differentiate between NXT and where we are now. Obviously, he came in right after WrestleMania, and he was hella protected. And, I mean, even still, I mean, you can still make the argument that he is protected right now. I mean, he's only 8-1 pin ever. But when he was in NXT, it just seemed like he was just so
above the roster.
Above. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it was like how I think, I joked that Asuka should probably main event WrestleMania next year. Like it seemed like Nakamura should literally win the title in one night, like he's Paige or something, right? And now where we are, because like they tend to be able to figure out like fantastic ingenious ways to mess everybody up that Triple H ever like shines up and turns to like a potential new budding star, but he was just so good at NXT that it's hard to just like ignore it in favor of what he's done on the main roster so far. Yeah. And I mean, it's still not the worst thing in the world. Like, he's still a star. He still gets some of the biggest reactions on TV. It's just, but you can see that like it's not the same. It's not the same after like the 4 or 5 months he's
now. Imagine if you and Matt, I believe you're following New Japan, right?
Yep.
Now. I feel like we saw the New Japan Nakamura for one match, and it was the Sami Zayn match.
No, yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I would agree, yes, definitely.
And so it feels really different for me at this point.
Well, it's funny because I remember when Tommy, was still trying to figure things out, and some of the talk was, he's probably in his mind thinking, how the hell do I get over matches working this soft style compared to what I'm used to wrestling? Mm-hmm. Mm. And then you saw Brooklyn 3, and it's like, I figured it out. I'm just going to wrestle my match. Like, I'm going to wrestle my match. I don't think, and obviously he's with a guy that's used to that style. But I don't think you can come out here and literally just stiff and effectively shoot on the dudes that are working those 4 or 5 house shows a week. If he can get, obviously it's easier said than done. But like, if we can figure out a way to get to AJ and Nakamura, I think all our problems will be solved. And I think that wrestling on house shows or whatever else, or wrestling in the circuit, whatever, he can figure some more things out. I think he's still trying to figure a lot of things out. And also, there is something to be said about, the thought of, some of the people that are kind of down on him as far as what he's done so far, saying, seems like he's sort of melded in. Like, he's already taken all those hits, all those bumps, and now it's time for it. Now he's on the back end just cashing checks. Mm-hmm. Mm. But, he's still so over and still so smart and so good that, like, he could, it almost and for me, as a person that's only watched a few of his New Japan matches, it almost feels like we're almost like taking it for granted that he's still really putting on really good quality stuff now. Mm-hmm. It's just like the quality isn't the greatest stuff you ever seen. Some of the greatest stuff you ever seen. That's different. Right. So I feel like we're kind of taking it for granted at points, but yeah, ultimately, he's not as over as he was like doing the NXT thing. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
So go ahead, Matt.
I was just thinking, because I think part of his derailment has just been he's been figuring things out, and then he's been put in a program with a guy who's also trying to figure things out, and then his main event title, his main event run is also with the guy who's trying to figure things out. So where does Shinsuke get over in this? Because he's helping someone else get over the entire time, but he's got to get over because he's still figuring out his crap. Which is why I think it was really odd at SummerSlam to have Kevin Owens and AJ Styles fighting over the mid-card when you got two guys who were trying to get over in the main event. It's backwards. It's the other way back. Don't know why he wasn't the other way around. Well, India, that's why. Got to plug the network.
even though he's not like drawing a dime over there.
Yes.
Like the thing, Matt, you're absolutely right about it. It's like, I said this in the lead up to SummerSlam. It felt like it was too soon for Nakamura. And ultimately, you look back at it, it's like, well, even they thought it was too soon. They just threw him out there just to put a match together. And it really was a guy that doesn't deserve to be champion versus a guy that's not ready to be champion yet. Mm-hmm. And it sounds about right for the way that match came out.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Moving into the top 5, the guy I think that is the best wrestler in the world right now. You guys may agree, you may disagree, but he's up 18 spots from last year. Number 5, Kenny Omega. Mm-hmm. Now, this guy, essentially from the time the grading period started, was the G1 of 2016, which he ended up winning. And he had a back-to-back. Within 21 hours, he had a 5-star match and a 4.75 in the final against Goto. Then he goes on and has a 6-star match, in a loss, like against Okada, and he takes a couple months off, resurfaces, with matches against Ishii, a trilogy that he snuck in under the radar, all the way until he gets to the G1 in USA, where he caps it off with winning the U.S. title tournament after that phenomenal rematch with Okada. Kenny Omega is a god in wrestling terms. Him not signing with WWE was probably the best move that he could have made. James has brought it up to me before. Maybe that's why WWE is in such a weird situation this year, but I don't know if WWE would have went ahead and put him on the main roster immediately. They might have, sent him to NXT, which is completely unnecessary.
But the thing is, the one thing is, if you bring him to NXT, then that means somebody else gets to come up. At this point, where we are now, where it's like pretty much Galloway came in to replace Bobby Roode, who came in to replace Nakamura, who came in to replace Joe, who basically came in and replaced Finn, or saved or let Finn finally leave after everybody else, after the mass exodus of the talent from the original run of the year and a half of NXT. Mm-hmm. I think that was a part of it. Like the roster, obviously, the more they would have had him around there and had to do his quote-unquote mandatory 365, and then he would have left.
Do his year in a day?
Yeah, do his year in a day. Exactly. Do his year in a day, and then let him out into the world. Yeah. Obviously, some of the stuff you just look at, because this year has been sort of a letdown, or not sort of a letdown, has been a letdown so far, that you think you start thinking of stuff in your head all right, so maybe they planned on having, actually having him come in, and then it just didn't work out, or whatever. Mm. But and then sometimes I think if he did show up, what would have happened? Would anything have really changed on a substantial basis? Would the match quality have kept up from 2016? Would it have dropped off like it did this year? With him being on SmackDown, would that have would we have ever got a Bullet Club thing we've been clamoring for, or something that alludes to the Bullet Club, like Balor Club, or when you had AJ and the Good Brothers together? Mm-hmm. Would you have seen something a new heel faction or whatever? We're sort of missing that thing right now. They're doing really good with stuff right now on the Raw side, but SmackDown seems like it's missing something. And I think they made the right decision by moving Bobby Roode to SmackDown. I really do. Mm-hmm. Even though the show's looking more and more like Impact by the week, but still.
That crowd this week. The other side completely empty.
Yeah, it was only 3,500 people there this week on SmackDown.
Well, it was Little Rock.
Yeah. Going back to Kenny Omega, For me, in his past years, he's always been a victim of going a little bit silly. So, like, he really liked his mop. And he'd bring the thing to the ring and he'd clean it and he'd be quite jokey. And he had a lot of matches with Yano, so they'd be quite jokey and silly anyway. I don't know, did either of you see Kenny Omega versus Toa Yano from G1 this year?
Yeah, well, that was like the most controversial thing of the G1 the entire year. Yeah.
I thought it was brilliant. I didn't know it was controversial.
Like, some people, you know, they just like
murder the business.
Some people went on full on like, this is ridiculous. This is horse shit. So yeah.
G1, you need a break. And then it led into the match for Toa Yano versus Sanada the next night, where I think he just tied up Toa Yano in his little knot that Sanada does and just left him on the ramp and won by a count out. It's a genius.
The weather may be cooling down, but the savings are heating up at your local Sears Auto Center. This Labor Day, you could get 4 durable all-season die-hard tires and only pay for 3. Plus, you'll also get a $100 Sears Award card to use on future purchases. Great savings backed with a 70,000 mileage warranty. Die hard, don't wait. Visit SearsAuto.com to find a Sears near you and take advantage of this Labor Day sale. Installation required. Exclusions may apply. Offer valid now through September 9th.
So, like, what was your impression of Omega this past year? Like, as far as like, you know, his quality and all that.
The big difference for me was he's done a lot less of that silly stuff, and he's taken a lot more of his matches seriously. Like the tag matches being the big one, where he would often piss about and have fun because he wasn't the big guy back then. And when he first took over as well, that was, I mean, when the Elite was really starting to get over. I think a lot of complaint was he was being a bit silly. But since Wrestle Kingdom, that's not been an issue at all. Well, since G1 really, suddenly it turned into this awesome thing where he was putting on for like 5-star matches every single time he was like in the main event or in a big match on the card. His consistency, him and Okada, their consistency this year has been absolutely insane. To have so many good matches with so many people one after the other, it's incredible. And of course, maybe the driving force behind that could be expanding into America. And they're looking to sell out a huge arena next year, so don't expect that quality to drop off. He's right. He is the American draw, and if I'm right, he's booked for a Ring of Honor show in America at some point, and he's already sold it out.
Yeah, Chicago, right?
Yeah, he sold it out before they announced anyone else on the card.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That is insane. So they're going to do fine when they come over. Kenny Omega is over.
Yeah, and it's also, you know, and that was after he had said at the Long Beach G1, he was like, look, we told everybody, especially after everybody, you know, old babyface Bullet Club, right? The good old babyface.
The good old boys.
The good old American babyfaces, right? How over they were after they won, he won the U.S. title, and he said, I told the guys that they should have booked a bigger building. And next year we're coming back. And what did he say? Didn't he say we're coming back in a 20,000 seat building next year? Yeah. And then this happens in Chicago. And you're like,
maybe he's right.
Maybe he was right, because you know there was so much talk about how fast those seats sold out, and then how the meet and greet with all the guys was going for like $50.
Yeah, and like, they severely undershot.
Yeah. So they, you know. Or actually, it might have been 20. It might have been something even more like 20. It's like, okay.
And the lines were so long that it was like 3-hour waits.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
So, like, they're definitely on the upswing, especially now that, you know, you have the internet and the fact that, you know, in a weird way, given how we are with our TV now, just for television, period, where everything is so high quality, people, and you can get everything a la carte and you watch it on your own time. People don't really have time for, like, as you say with WWE this year, people don't have time for like the 2-star matches.
Yep.
If you have a love for WWE, that's cool, that's great. If you have a love for just the wrestling, you can find better wrestling in WWE if you so choose. It's just if you do you want to? This is up to you.
Yep.
And it seems to be that there is a groundswell for people to actually want to get into wrestling as a art form / sport, and at the highest level of peak athleticism. And if that's what you're looking for, Kenny Omega's it.
Yep.
B-triggers and all.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's flip on to the other side of the spectrum. A little bit of controversy here, I imagine, arise online. Number 4, down 3 spots from number 1 last year. Roman Reigns. He won, as I mentioned before, he won the WrestleMania main event, but this was such a year where like he backed into the WrestleMania main event. This wasn't, a year where it was like, okay, this is Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker is the match. No, it was a match that happened to be The Undertaker's last.
Yeah, they put it on last. And
I feel like PWI was justified. If you look at it, Roman Reigns wasn't a champion throughout the whole grading period.
Yeah,
he was the United States champion, but what did he really do with that belt?
He lowered the standing of the belt when he got it. Like, he took it off. Okay, so if I remember correctly, help me if I'm wrong on this, Rich. Cena has the U.S. wins it from Rusev in 2015, like after WrestleMania 31.
Yeah.
He then carries it into like October-ish, and then Del Rio has it.
Yeah.
Then Del Rio takes it and loses it to Kalisto.
Yep.
Did Kalisto drop it to Ryback or
no? Kalisto dropped it to Rusev.
He drops it to Rusev. And then what happens from there?
Then Rusev loses it to Roman.
Loses it to Roman at SummerSlam.
No, the month after that.
Okay, the month after that. And you're right, because they had the freaking brawl or whatever.
Brawl.
Yeah. So, and Clash of Champions. So you look at, and also this is at a point where, the grading starts in, you said August or July? August. All right, so he goes on he starts the year off by being on a wellness violation.
Oh yeah.
Actually no, before that. But he comes right back and he loses clean to Finn Balor, a brand new skinny wimp, right? I love Finn. I like Finn Balor a lot, but he's like, okay, so I've never seen this guy on TV before. And then you see him fight Roman Reigns, you probably be like, wait, what just happened here?
Right.
And everybody else is like, wow, this is like the greatest episode of Raw ever. Like we just had two fatal 4-ways. We had two fatal 4-ways, a great match. We had the championship. You have a new star made day one straight out. Did Sasha have the title change on that?
Yep. Same show.
Four great things happened on that episode of Raw.
When's the next time that's happening?
Oh my gosh, never. So and then you go from the rest of the years and the whole thing is he's chasing. Like he's chasing with Seth to go catch Jericho and Owens, and they never get their hands on those slippery creeps.
Yeah.
And then he finally he's gonna win the Universal title, and then Braun Strowman starts off what I like to call the greatest murder spree ever. I would think. Has anybody, I don't think actual murder because obviously he's still alive, but has anybody in wrestling ever in this short a period of time done more things that could literally kill another human being than what Braun Strowman has done for all of this year to Roman Reigns? How many times could he have literally died during the ambulance segment? How many times? 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. A lot of big wins for Reigns in the grading period.
Yeah.
A lot of losses, though.
The biggest win. He retired The Undertaker.
But I feel like they didn't really respect the rest of the year that he had. So that's why they didn't even give him the number 1, even though he was a full-time star.
Yeah.
What'd you make of Reigns, Matt?
I think for me, the only reason why he's much lower is because he didn't hold any championships. Yeah, again, I've completely forgot about the United States Championship. You literally just talked about it, and I completely forgot he had that. But yeah, I think his quality has picked up since he's really been getting into that feud with Strowman. The stuff with the Undertaker was kind of I can't really remember anything good that he did before he got back into his Strowman. His stuff with Kevin Owens it wasn't good.
Well, there's one exception.
Oh.
The Royal Rumble match might be the second best match that the main roster put on all year.
Yeah, it actually was. I forgot. Yeah, I love Chris Jericho in that. He was way better than Enzo, greasing up and sliding out like a chicken.
Yes, I actually heard you talk about that on last week's show, and I thought to myself, yes, Enzo lubing himself up to try to fit through a small place. He is officially a dick.
Oh man.
But yeah, if I think in terms of PWI, the fact of him not holding a championship is probably the biggest factor.
Yep.
Because he has got. Well, I think because last year in the summer he was really good as well. So I don't know if it's just a summer thing, but that's 2 years in a row now they've done quite good booking for Roman Reigns. But it's just now I feel like they're slowly actually deciding on a character, and it's that I'm starting to like Reigns a little bit now. Compare that to his stuff with Kevin Owens, where it was back to kind of standard Roman Reigns gets a new character, kind of bollocks. So that was a bit of an issue for me. His stuff with Strowman was always good though. Like from day one, they seemed to just have something, and at Fastlane they showed that.
Murder.
Yeah, it was an amazing match.
Murder. That was the connection that got them over.
Yep. They tried to murder each other.
They tried to murder each other outside outside the realms of this guy's a big sweaty dude. He's going to beat up another big sweaty dude really badly. I mean, no, they actually tried to kill each other, literally. Like both of them tried to commit homicide.
Unbelievable.
They should both be in prison.
Yes. Absolutely unbelievable. I want to say number 3, moving up, the up 3 spots. Previously was at number 6. Kevin Owens held the Universal Championship for a large portion of the grading period, and was the United States Champion for a large portion, the other half of the grading period. I feel like this is the perfect spot. If you look at the 3 world champions, the 3 predominant world champions of the grading period, you have Owens on one side, you got AJ Styles, and if you haven't heard, you got Okada. Right. So I feel like Owens is clearly the number 3 guy. When you looked at, Styles' reigns versus Owens, right. Owens looked like a bitch. He looked like a complete comedy act, while AJ Styles looked like he was the best wrestler in the world while he had the championship throughout 2016. Fortunately, he was sabotaged. I guess we'll just loop in Styles and Owens right now before we get to Okada, because these guys are interchangeable almost. But as far as Owens, at number 3, he was the preemptive star of Monday Night Raw, the champion. Yes. And then got kind of shuffled out of the way, so that's why he can't go any higher than AJ.
He got moved out of the way for WrestleMania just because plans.
Yes. Yeah. Plans. Hashtag plans. What did you make of Kevin Owens over this past year, Matt?
I feel like he got made to look like a coward, which just doesn't fit with what Kevin Owens had been up until he won the title. For me, it was like a complete 360, and it did the same with Seth Rollins back in 2014, I say with confidence.
Matt, do you think it was that bad?
It's the same thing, however, Chris Jericho saved it a bit. Because, So Jerry KO, that was awesome, and the whole breakup thing was absolutely fantastic. Like, I think that's the best Raw segment they've done this year, with the breakup of Jerry KO. It was like, why's my name on this list? It was awesome.
Oh, that is a great segment.
And then they had all the ridiculous statue, and like Jericho was so happy to walk down the aisle and wearing like the top hat and the ridiculous stuff. Oh. And then it's almost like he broke a fourth wall. It was like, just to be honest, cut all the crap, all the goofy stuff we're doing for this Festival of Friendship thing. Like, this has been one of my best years, or one of my favorite years in WWE. It was like, oh, that's really heartfelt. Like, one of my things that irritates me with the company, WWE, is like they actually don't have guys do anything active to turn them face, to have face turns.
Right.
Like, pretty much something bad happens to a heel, and then you're just like, oh, I guess we're supposed to feel bad for him. As opposed to like, I'm going to right or wrong up for redemption. Like that, and it took them months for them to get to the Seth Rollins part now with Dean Ambrose. But with Jericho was like basically opening himself up to be vulnerable and show him like, yeah, man, like I really value our friendship when, for months we thought like they're just both just jerks that are hanging out together, and they're eventually when the time is right, they're going to screw it. One of them's going to screw the other. But like Jericho actually really thought that man was his friend, and then like it got to that point, like, oh, this is really good. And then what happens? He turns on him like a piece of crap, and he's like, oh, this is fantastic. Like I love this. I hate it and I love it at the same time. It's so good.
To me, it was the reverse of Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. You know, just from the match execution to how the story came together, it was the reverse that. And unfortunately, Owens got his title reign ended in like 20 seconds to Goldberg. Hasn't sniffed it again and had to kind of get shunted over to the other side. And, you know, he's getting into a feud with Shane or whatever. Be good for him because he's always kind of had a belt, and then you're taking him away from the belt for the first time, and it's like a special program. So WWE knows what they have in Owens.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Was Battleground last year inside of the window for the PWI?
It was not. That was July. So that would have been the year before.
Because I was thinking of his match with Sami Zayn, which was
incredible,
really, really good. Yeah.
I might watch that. You know, I might give that a spin.
That was literally a star-making performance. They had, you know, Owens was already established as a star from, you know, what he did the year before, like that full year before, especially with Cena, and then, like, you know, the people always love to say that, like, or they like to pretend like wins and losses don't matter, but like they gave Sami Zayn that win. He triumphed over this jerk that that betrayed him.
It ruined his life.
And literally ruined his life. Like took food off of his table because he couldn't work. And you get to the point where like, all right, so what's next for these guys now that it's been the blow off and they're so happen to be in the same brand? Okay, let's move. You're thinking like, all right, so it looks like we might get Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns right now. That's like the logical thing. So Sami Zayn just got to win over one of the top guys in the company. What are we going to do with it as far as momentum? And I thought, okay, Rusev versus Sami Zayn. It makes so much sense. Babyface is over. He's going to be in peril because Rusev's a killer. And built like a refrigerator and sits on you, squeeze life out of you like a boa constrictor.
For the U.S. title.
For the U.S. title. And what do they do? Nah, time for big match Roman.
Yeah, time for Roman to take the spot. Time for Roman to take the U.S. title. Time for Roman to take the moment.
Yes, time for Roman, the guy that's always, you know, that main event Raw more than anybody else. It's time for him to get the B belt. Like, come on, man. And then you look where we are now, and it looks like like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are trying to circle each other again. Like, do you think they're going to end up getting the Hell in a Cell?
Oh, that'd be awesome. No, they're not going to get a Hell in a Cell.
Why not? I mean, it's only a couple months from now.
I agree, but I don't think if
he
you do it
this week on SmackDown.
I think Owens and Shane are going to get a Hell in a Cell.
Yo,
Shane Hell in a Cell match.
Yes.
Do you not remember what the last one was like?
Yes. I remember it was 30 minutes of punching each other and a big fall off the cage that meant nothing.
I still have not watched that match since it aired.
Yeah.
Like I
refuse.
I refuse. I absolutely like, dude. I told you this before.
And that could have been Kevin Owens versus The Undertaker that year.
It could have. Ever since, look, and whenever I watch WrestleMania 32, I have one rule only. After the women's triple threat match, and Charlotte wins, the pyro goes, and the pyro all around the stadium goes off. That is the James Boyd official main event. Nothing after that happens on the show. It gets cut off.
It's alternate history,
in my opinion. Like, nah, that was main event. Like, and if you treat it as such, you will enjoy the hell out of WrestleMania 32. If you want to watch those in the next hour and change, all right,
be ready.
Have fun.
Be ready. So let's move up to number 2. Up 2 spots from the number 4 position. AJ Styles, the phenomenal one, who came into the WWE fresh off of a tour, a couple of tours of New Japan, and he shot up into the main roster after WrestleMania in prime position for the grading period to pretty much be the Wrestler of the Year in WWE and on our podcast on One Nation Radio and the awards. He was the in-ring performer and our Ric Flair Wrestler of the Year together. So AJ Styles had a phenomenal year all throughout pay-per-view. He was a world champion. He was having critically acclaimed feuds, matches, segments, TV matches, and moments as far as him. No, he turned heel before the grading period. But WWE went ahead and decided, nah. We got for you.
Plans.
Now, Matt, I don't know if you how much you've heard with AJ Styles. I was really worked up around WrestleMania time, and I went on a 4-minute rant. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I heard.
Yep. For those that don't know, I went on a 4-minute rant of how this company fucked AJ Styles out of the WWE Championship and put him with Shane McMahon in every kind of elaborate way they did it, and pretty much expressed how much it was bullshit. And then AJ Styles had a 4-star match with a civilian, which proved to me that he could have had a 5-star match with almost anyone aside from Jinder Mahal on the roster at WrestleMania that day. So that, it seems like it is the biggest thing. The de-emphasization of AJ Styles from the Raw. Did I fuck it up still?
De-emphasis.
Okay, the emphasis of, did I just make up a word?
Yeah.
Okay, so the de-emphasis of AJ Styles from the Royal Rumble forward, with all the losses, the only victories he's gotten on pay-per-view have come at SummerSlam and have come at WrestleMania. Yeah.
I didn't realize that either.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he lost all those matches, and pretty much got sent to the mid-card for no good reason after he was doing perfectly fine as world champion. SmackDown had caught Raw in the ratings, and it was one of, like, honestly, if you were to tell me that if I did not know that Vince was writing both shows, I would swear that, like, Vince has been systematically dismantling SmackDown Live for the last since the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
But writing both shows was like, why would you sabotage the same crap you're writing? I don't understand. So yeah, but as far as AJ, like he, I was a Laps fan from 2000 to 2011, and I mean, I pretty much had a set list of guys that are in my top 10, top 15, whatever your list is, whatever. And there have been really, there's only been, for me, like 4 guys that have, like, cracked, that I would say, like, now belong, that, like, I view them, like, as far as, like, a growing affection for them the same way that, like, when I was a kid, like, I had Hulk Hogan and Sting and Macho Man and The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and Bret, and The Rock and Austin, before I'm going to get part of my list, but, like AJ's one of those guys that over this last, year, during this grading period or whatever, now for me, like, I love that dude. Like, I love Daniel Bryan, I love CM Punk, I love Cena, I have love for and love Orton, but that's he took him only 1 year to do it. Like, that dude is
yeah.
That dude is really next level, and I mean,
phenomenal. You might add.
I remember we got to a point after he after WrestleMania, or after he lost WrestleMania to Jericho at WrestleMania 32, and I thought, dude, like, I don't know what's going to happen with this. I don't know if he's going to make it because if they believe in him or whatever else. And then they immediately go into
Styles Reigns.
I'm like, okay, we'll see. And then it's like, well, he's still not. They're still not letting him win the big one. And Cena just said he's a loser. He hasn't won the big one yet. We'll see. And then he beat Cena. I was like,
it was also clear during those Reigns matches that everyone wanted Styles to win. Styles was this star.
And he was outperforming Roman too.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you get to SummerSlam, and then he beat Cena after he survived the Avalanche AA, and he beat Cena. You're just like, my God, like, we're on to something here. And then a month later, he's the champion, and like he's had the best title reign the company's had since what? Probably since Punk.
I can't think of anyone.
There's a great argument for that. I mean, you could say Rollins had great matches, but as far as the title reign,
because they kept getting him under and under because, like, he could never beat anybody by himself, and 2, they sent him out there in the Death March to open every single show, every single first segment, every show with a 15-minute promo, and that's the way to get yourself under.
Yeah. But yeah, Matt, what do you think about AJ's year?
He even got entertaining, decent matches out of James Ellsworth.
Yes.
He even did that.
Yes. He almost killed himself bumping around for Ellsworth on that ladder match.
And in his just singles match against Ellsworth, you thought for a second that Ellsworth was actually going to win, AJ's that good. He convinced me that guy could actually win. And then he beat the living shit out of him for like 2 weeks straight, which I thought was brilliant.
Do you remember when he Styles clashed him off the steel steps onto the ground?
Yeah,
oh my
gosh.
Still to this day, I do not understand for life of me, other than the fact that they just wanted to get the angle over that Ellsworth screwed Ambrose. I would have kept him off TV like for a month.
Yeah, so like the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. But like AJ's so good that like he even avoids when people were about to literally paralyze him. Remember when Strowman threw him over the top rope during the Survivor Series match, and he was clearly going to land directly on his head, on top of his head, from going over the top rope to the floor. But he somehow figured out that, I'm going to die here, and grabbed onto the rope, and the last second was able to adjust in mid-air, mid-flight. Like, dude's incredible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. His control is, and then they always said that in TNA, it's like, he's got such amazing control of his body. But then you, like, with stuff like that, just the little things, you see just how good he is, and he makes everything he does look really cool. Like the forearm, the phenomenal forearm. That's hard to say. At 2:30 in the morning. the phenomenal. Oh, Jesus Christ. The forearm. Like he and he just hits it. It looks so cool. I think the only person who always makes it look just as good is Kairi Sane with her like jumping elbow off the top rope. That looks awesome as well. But he's such good control that everything looks really, really cool.
So, getting to the number one guy, he was number 2 last year, which is kind of crazy in itself, based on that year WWE put together last year. Number 1, Kazuchika Okada, the first Japanese wrestler to ever be number 1. Not Inoki, not Tanahashi, not Fujinami,
not Masawa,
not Nakamura, not Yuji Nagata, not Masahiro Chono, but
not Tanahashi.
That's crazy. Yes. But Okada, who has had this phenomenal year in which he's lived above 5 stars with Kenny Omega, and then without Kenny Omega, he had that ridiculously great match with Shibata. He has been the guy in New Japan. He's been the IWGP champion the entire time. He's still the champion right now. What's better than this? Like, if you're looking at 1 year for a guy, like for a champion, he outdid AJ Styles in 2016, I feel like.
Yes, he did.
And the only guys you can really put are like, maybe Shawn Michaels in 96, but even then that was like 6 months. Like Okada's like, he literally has a laundry list of these matches. So I'm going to throw it to you guys.
I think it's been the biggest consistency since All Japan Pro Wrestling.
Wow.
Where with their like Misawa and watch him a jog. Who's the other guy that Misawa's?
Wada.
Yeah. So those two where it's just insane head bumps and the matches were like incredible. Like to now when you watch them, it's a bit worrying when you watch some of the moves like Tiger Driver 91. That's not a nice move. Yeah, not nice. However, the matches are still really, really good, and All Japan, their consistency was absolutely insane. Okada has perhaps maybe beaten that. Just that every single match, every single not pay-per-view, you know what I mean? Like special event is, the quality is insane. And I don't know how he does it. Like, especially with his match with Okada, where afterwards he said that there were like multiple times in that match that he thought he was going to die. Like the German suplex off the top rope. Just facing backwards. It's just like, I get what you mean. Yeah.
The dragon suplex. Yeah, that's not fun. Like when that happened, I thought myself like, these guys are idiots. Like they're going to kill one another. And like for me, like the diversity of all of his matches, like the Shibata match looks nothing like the Omega match. The Omega match looks nothing like the Tiger Mask W match. The Tiger Mask W match is nothing like the Fale match. Like, and even hell, Okada 1 doesn't look like Okada 2. I mean, Okada Omega 1 doesn't like 2, and 2 doesn't like 3 or 1, and 3 doesn't like 1 either. Like, there's just
this guy's not even 30 years old yet. I think he's easily going to be on the list of the greatest wrestlers ever. He's already on it. Wherever you want to put him, I mean, you're talking about like Shawn Michaels like up there with him, like and Omega like right on their tail. So this guy got rewarded for, you know, the all-time great year that promotion had. I feel like he's won the main event of Wrestle Kingdom. He's their ace. They came to America with him on the first night in the main event. Yeah. Omega in the second night. But no matter what, remember, it is a Japanese wrestling company, and he is the dude.
Mm-hmm. And that's also comes along with how big of an achievement this is, that he was in the number 2 promotion in the company, and this isn't like WCW or WWF. This isn't like AWA and WF or whatever back in the territory days. This is, you know, this is the underdog, the top guy on the underdog promotion, the distant number 2 of the world, going against the Machine, and coming out on top. And you know, like, the dude's just incredible. I mean, like, he could do anything, literally anything. I mean, you could clearly, if you wanted to, come to WWF or come to WWE and put on that style. We saw that when we saw the Cody match in Long Beach. Like, he could absolutely do the main event title match for pay-per-views in WWE style. We saw it. The dude's incredible. For my money, he's the best wrestler I've ever seen in the ring. And the problem is he's so damn good that like he won't ever be fully appreciated because he's so smooth, so slick. Like, he has a lot of that Randy Orton where like it looks like it's so easy that you can't tell, like you can almost get lost in like how good he is because it looks so easy. And I mean, this dude's 29. Like, you know, you're knock on wood, health. Like we're gonna have a lot of great stuff that comes with him.
Like, imagine if we get like 10 more years of this. who would be able to compete? Like, it gets real slim on the margins. Like, eventually, like, you know, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, those guys gonna have to either like they're gonna have to give up their seat or they're gonna have to make room so Okada can sit there with them. So. And that's going to be in the eyes of the fans, too. You know, if you guys, if folks are opening up more to New Japan and, you know, the profile keeps rising with Okada leading the way, being backed up by Kenny Omega, and then being backed up, you know, by the ace that is Tanahashi in his, you know, final years. And then their talent development that is insane underneath. And it's being led by all those guys are the guys that Okada's going to be wrestling in a couple years. And those guys are going to be ready.
Here's one thing to consider, right? Ishii's their 5th best wrestler, maybe 4th.
Yeah, he's right up there too.
5th, 4th wrestler. Like you would say Okada, Omega, then you would say
Naito,
Ishii, Naito,
maybe Ibushi,
Tanahashi, right? Well, Ibushi's not.
He's like a freelance,
right?
Yeah.
He's a freelancer, right? Like you would say Naito, Ibushi, or Tanahashi is one of those 3 is the 5th best wrestler in this company. Besides AJ and like Cesaro, is there anybody even approaching those guys in the ring on the WWE roster?
Like, you maybe want to throw out Neville.
Yeah, you can throw out Neville. You can throw out Sami Zayn. Yeah, it's true. But like,
it gets real slim real fast.
We're talking about the 5th guy, Rich, and the 5th guy. As a person that, you know, I only watch New Japan here and there. I cherry pick the stuff. And the person that's living and dying with the WWE product on an everyday basis, like that's really hard for me to admit that, like, I feel like I am watching inferior wrestling on a weekly basis. And I still enjoy WWE I still enjoy WWE. Like, I feel like in particular the last 4 weeks of television has been really good.
Mm-hmm.
The second week after this, like the last 5 weeks television has been really good. But it's still just I just know, like, if only I could speak Japanese.
Right.
If only like it wasn't coming on at like 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, and certain big shows, it's like,
right.
It's how it is sometimes. But
I know how I feel with WWE.
Right,
Oh,
yeah, because Matt's over in the UK, so it's like 2 a.m. over there.
But at least you got like progress in Rev Pro.
Oh yeah, we've
True.
got, yeah. I love Progress. I was watching that just before we went live.
See?
Went to the Rev Pro show over WrestleMania weekend, and it was phenomenal.
Yes.
What do you think about that guy, Gideon? What's his name? Gideon.
Is that the one that had the
weird character?
Where as if he was almost like as if he was what do you say, mentally blank?
Yes.
That guy.
And then when the bell rang, like he would
Rage
snap
monster.
out of it.
Oh, the Festus guy. Yeah. I forgot about that. That's his nickname. That's the first thing I thought when I saw him. So ever since I just called him, oh yeah, Festus guy.
Yep. So that was your top 10 for the PWI 500. I guess that's a great place to wrap it up. And Matt, we just want to thank you for opening up your airwaves to have James and I on. If you want to close this out how you normally do, we'll step out the way. If you want to throw it back to us to plug whatever, be my guest.
I'll get my shit out of the way first. You can follow me on Twitter at the Damn Implicat. That's damn as in damn. I do that every week. I feel stupid every week I do that. You can read my columns. I've not done a column for a few months now, but I mean to. I'm planning on doing another column. In the Laws of Pain column forums, there are other people posting very regularly down there. And, of course, tomorrow on Laws of Pain Radio, it's the right side of the pond, so more British people. Hey, I don't know who's on it. I don't know what they're talking about. But a random collection of the right side of the pond people. And then I don't know if there is a Sunday special. Oh, wait, there's a Sunday special. Shit, I meant to plug this. Yeah, there is a all-star Fact or Fiction this Sunday. I can't tell you what time, but it will be airing this Sunday on Laws of Pain Radio. So that'll be like Steve, the Doc, one of the guys from right side of the pond. I'll be there. Maybe Miss Fan will be there as well, and maybe Zanman. We are talking about WWE, and I think he tortured himself with SummerSlam just so he could do this. He doesn't like WWE. He hates it.
Wow.
So that's this Sunday, and that's all of my shit plugs.
Excellent, man. If you guys dug what you heard today, we're One Nation Radio. You can go to socialsuplexwrestling.podbean.com. We actually switched up our URLs, so right now the iTunes link is down. But like I said, you can go to that site and subscribe through the Podbean, and also the One Nation Wrestling YouTube page is active. So every show we record will syndicate onto that. In the time being.
You can also catch our spots in editions of, posts on socialsuplex.com itself. Yeah, so just check us out.
Yep, socialsuplex.com. We'll have the official posts of the show. And you guys can also check out the Wrestling Squared Circle, our Facebook group, well over 1,000 members, good debate. Always remember the rule, don't come kicking that fuck shit, we will come get you. And you can also check me out on the Lords of Pain Columns forums with the Lattice Lariat series I've been putting out at a furious pace for the last 2 months. So, but thanks for having us on, Imp.
No problem, fellas. Not been on enough Britishness on these shows. I need to get English guests on. Yeah, also, if you are listening to this on Lords of Pain site, all of the names on the description will take you to the Twitter pages for everybody. So, yeah, Richard's will take you to Richard's, James will take you to James's, and One Nation Radio is also on there as well for the easy use of getting to socialsuplex.com. That's all my shit plugs. Right, you can say goodbye as you're not going to hijack it again.
All right, y'all. We out of here, man.
All right, later.
Peace.
Now rocking with One Nation Radio. Welcome to the program. James Boyd, Richard Latta, and a couple friends with the show for your wrestling needs. Shopping out the rest of the IWC. We gon' tell her how it is. We gon' shoot from the hip. If they putting out trash, we gon' rip from the biz. Make sure that you tweet us and you rate the shows. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Now let's get it on the road. Hey. One Nation Sports. One Nation Sports. One Nation Sports.
Welcome to One Nation Radio. And now, here are your hosts, Rich Latta and James Boyd. And thank you for listening.
SocialSuplex.com. BWB, what's up?
Yo, what's good? It's Wale, and this is One Nation Radio. You already know.
How can you achieve and maintain business growth? Harvard Business School Executive Education is now accepting applications for a new program, Driving Profitable Growth. Taking place in Boston from October 25th through the 28th, this program focuses on business expansion and organizational growth strategies that can lead your company into the future. Learn more about this 3-day program for senior leaders by visiting hbs.me/growth. That's hbs.me/growth.
Okay, keep your eyes closed.
Okay.
I want to show you my first ever painting.
All right.
Okay. Open your eyes.
Oh, that's a lot of colors and shapes.
So be honest. What do you think?
Well, I like how if you switch to Geico, you could save hundreds of dollars on car insurance.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Here, why don't I hold your paintbrush while you call them?
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
The weather may be cooling down, but the savings are heating up at your local Sears Auto Center. This Labor Day, you could get 4 durable all-season die-hard tires and only pay for 3. Plus, you'll also get a $100 Sears Award card to use on future purchases. Great savings backed with a 70,000 mileage warranty. Die hard, don't wait. Visit SearsAuto.com to find a Sears near you and take advantage of this Labor Day sale. Installation required. Exclusions may apply. Offer valid now through September 9th. The weather may be cooling down, but the savings are heating up at your local Sears Auto Center. This Labor Day, you could get 4 durable all-season die-hard tires and only pay for 3. Plus, you'll also get a $100 Sears Award card to use on future purchases. Great savings backed with a 70,000 mileage warranty. Die hard, don't wait. Visit SearsAuto.com to find a Sears near you and take advantage of this Labor Day sale. Installation required. Exclusions may apply. Offer valid now through September 9th.